To be an official advisor of the United Nations, one must possess the abilities of high moral standards, acts of compassion and empathy, and use judgments at the best of their interests of those involved, not with their own gain. Canada represents all of the above-mentioned qualified. We are a nation that believes in human rights and values cultural differences. Canada has showed itself to be a leader. During the Red Scare, the United States called out anyone who was a communist or believed in communism that they were arrested, persecuted, and outlawed. Canada during this time did not segregate or mistreat anyone who was or believed in communism. We believed that it was against human rights of freedom of speech. This should show that they were. This should show that they are not biased in any way. It shows that they are not against anyone's democratic beliefs. By not outlawing these people, like our American allies, we proved that we had good moral judgments and knew that they were wrong in not following everyone else who contributed to this act of segregation. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, no nuclear missile or weapon of any sort was allowed in Canada. When the United States insisted that we go onto a red alert at a certain point, we refused. This shows that we did not want to contribute in any way to this war or crisis. But not only did no nuclear weapon enter our borders, we did not interfere or pose any threat to anyone. We wanted to be considered a nuclear-free zone. Having this good moral judgment, we did not antagonize or pose a threat to anyone, and stayed calm and rational. Even though Canada did not back up the United States during the Cuban Missile Crisis, it does not mean we are against or have anything against them. We just simply did not agree with what they were asking, and we wish that we wish to stay out of this nuclear conflict. As said before, we did not want to become a nuclear country, and we wanted to keep the peace. However, it does not mean we do not stand with our allies. On September 18th, many countries came and gathered in Ottawa to participate in the global ban of landmines. Canadians were the ones who organized and led this effort to negotiate this ban. It is known as the Ottawa Treaty. These landmines were used in war, but not only the soldiers were injured and killed by these bombs. Innocent civilians suffered from them too. Canada called this conference to make sure no more were built in order to save lives of many. Approximately 120 countries signed this treaty to stop manufacturing landmines. Canada was looking for peace and was thinking of the innocent people being harmed. They saw it was wrong and, by good moral judgment, organized a treaty to stop the making of them. This shows that Canada is looking for peace and is using good moral judgments to achieve it. In Rwanda, when a massive genocide between the Tutsis and the Hutu tribe was breaking out, the United Nations sent peacekeepers to help bring it to an end. The man leading that group was a Canadian general named Romeo Dallaire. He saw the genocide coming and asked for 2,000 more men, and the United Nations said no. When 10 Belgian soldiers were killed by the tribe, everyone pulled back. Canada was the one who stayed through it all and saw it through. We stayed and helped the innocent people caught in the horrible event. This shows we care about other countries and people's needs other than our own, and how we fought for the justice of people's human rights. We were the ones who stayed back and tried to keep the peace when no one else would. Although we do have our indiscretions, in Somalia, a group of soldiers, part of Canadian Airborne Regiment, was involved in beating and torturing of a teenager to death. They attempted to cover it up, which was unsuccessful, and as a result, the whole regiment was disbanded. However, this should not reflect a country as a whole. The doings of 10 or so men, should not reflect the country they come from. Canada took responsibility of the action of these men and did suffer the blow. But that is one blemish that it should not tarnish the reputation built over time. In conclusion, I believe that Canada is the best choice as the advisor of the United Nations, because as a nation we represent. Because of a nation, we are respected worldwide. Canadians have a reputation of acceptance. We do not judge other cultures and religions. We believe in basic human rights for all, and have been asked to stand as peacekeepers in war-torn areas. We have demonstrated our abilities and willingness to do what is right when called upon by our allies. And more importantly, we have stood our ground when our allies' actions do not meet our moral standards. We are not perfect. We are not a perfect nation. We have made mistakes in the past, but we acknowledge our mistakes and learn from them in hope to never repeat them again. I believe these qualities make Canada the only choice as the advisor of the United Nations.